We're live. We are live. We're live. We're
Good
live.
morning,
And
good
we're
morning.
here.
Good morning. Today we're gonna have I hope that'll be a fun topic.
I think it is going to be fun,
We're talking about misuse of words that we love.
or that we've assimilated into our vernacular.
Yes, but we still recognize that there are misuse of the word.
Absolutely, and in some cases, we even defend their misuse. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
We are going to talk about it. Hopefully, we'll get to hear your favorites as well, and we'll be back in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like. Like. Hello.
She spoke it.
How you doing?
You know, Lisa and I, we went to the comedy club last night.
And it was fun.
And we had a good time at the comedy club last night. And on the way home, you know, after you leave a comedy club, you still kind of got that comedy club mode on. It takes a little while to come out of it. And when we pulled into our neighborhood, there's like a dead-end street when you first pull into your neighborhood. There was an ambulance there facing outward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they doing there? Just sitting there parked, facing outward. With no houses around it, just the ambulance there. So I was thinking, man, did some driver just pull his ambulance into the cut? Why isn't the ambulance there? But then we started thinking, who calls it an ambulance? It's an ambulance.
Ambulance.
Ambulance
The ambulance.
or ambulance.
Ambulance.
Ambulance. Call me ambulance. Richard Pryor does this joke about when he had a heart attack. And he was in the front yard. He said his kids think everything he does is a joke. Okay. And he says, I had to threaten, like when this is when he was drowning in the pool. You know, he was like drowning, like, help, help. The kids thought he was joking around.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I had to threaten to cut off their allowance to get them to call me an ambulance. Now,
sometimes you need ambulance.
Now, ambulance is obviously misused and abused word.
And mispronounced.
But it's still funny.
Tragically.
And it still works.
And we know what it is.
And we know what it is. Why bother correcting anybody? It's not an ambulance. It's an ambulance. Whatever, man. You know what I meant, right? If you know what they meant, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, now, I think I was probably a lot more strict about correcting the improper use of things with my children than I ever was with adults. Because as children, as a child, I had mislearned so many words.
Okay. Because you learned it on your own. That's why.
Well, I learned it from my great-great-grandmother who had a third grade education. And she knew words. She knew how to read, but sometimes she did not pronounce them properly. And because I hadn't learned them from anywhere else, that was the only pronunciation that I knew until I used it and it was improper.
That is, to me, that's just one of the dangers of a child being raised by grandparents and great-grandparents. You know, for example, a child who's being raised by their great-grandparents, for example, say a 7-year-old child. By the time that child is 7, by being raised by their great-grandparents, they have old vernacular. How old are you, young man? I'm 7 now, but if the Lord see fit, I'll be 8 in June, okay? They get old folk vernacular.
Good morning, Michelle DeWitt. How are you this morning?
Michelle, have you ever been in an ambulance?
Ambulance.
Okay, we're going to come up with a book. We hopefully with your help, but we got a bunch of words that we know are misused and abused, but we still love it just the way they are.
Absolutely. And some words, actually, we have long since debated the actual accuracy, only to find out through some of the research that I did this morning that we were using it right.
Yeah, because I was talking to this girl, and we decided we're just going to conversate for a little while. We're not going to get into anything serious. We're just going to conversate. Conversate ain't no word.
We have heard so many times that it is not a word. However, and here's what's interesting is
today's your birthday.
Yes, it is. The 19th. Happy birthday. Here's the interesting thing I found about
happy birthday, Michelle. We're gonna keep talking about it all day, all show anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So
we conversate a bit.
Exactly. So here it is. It says, yes, conversate is definitely a word. Many people found its formality grading, and the most usage guides will caution against using it in writing. However, there was one.
I do want to say
that actually said it was an African American term, but they gave the exact same definition.
Right. So we're talking about misused and abused words that we know and love. We started with the jump off of ambulance.
Ambulance.
Dr. Deborah, have you ever been in an ambulance before? Okay, you know what I mean. The older I get, the more I think I'm over grammar. Okay. I say to my clients all the time when I do my initial consultations with them, working with me, especially the stuff that they have to write out, spelling doesn't count and grammar doesn't count. I don't care how you spell the word, as long as we know what it means. I don't care what the grammar is. Mark Twain said, it is the poor, unimaginative mind that can only come up with one way to spell a word. That makes so much sense to me. You can come up with more than one way to spell a word.
Absolutely.
Why does colonel have to be spelled C-O-L-L? Why does baloney have to have a G in it? Okay, come on. Why does knife need a K? Okay, it takes,
I like the knife.
Yeah.
The K in the knife with Cat Williams. He said, is this like a spoon?
Right. So, yeah, you don't have to have, to me, I'm speaking for me. I'm over spelling and grammar. Okay. So today, good morning, Sister Jacqueline.
Good morning, Sister Jacqueline.
Bologna. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. Bologna. Okay, we don't need no G. Colonel. Why do you need a C-O-L-I-N-A-L and nothing with an R in it itself, Colonel? Okay. Come on.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Misuse and abuse words.
That we know what they mean.
Yep.
And we still, at some point or another, it may have bothered you for people to misuse it. I know. Carmelita, for one, she's the grammar police, and I love her for it. But as an editor and as a publisher, I have had to learn to actually become more lax because people's books, writing, specifically poetry, they have creative license.
Yeah.
They have creative license. Finna was on my list.
Finna.
That's right.
That's
finna,
a real, you know what I mean when I say I'm finna do something?
I'm finna do something.
No, it's not finna. It's fixing to do. Whatever, I'm finna.
Or finto.
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 Okay.
The first word that I learned when I moved down here to Charlotte, North Carolina, that I didn't understand for a long time. Nan.
Nan.
I ain't got name one. And I learned.
Not anyone?
And actually, it is the conjugation of nary a one.
Nary a one. Nan.
Nan.
Okay. Nary, we ain't got nary a one.
We never say nary a one.
But it's nan. And you know what it means, okay?
Good morning, Madam CJ.
Madam CJ, have you ever rode in the ambulance? Okay. I'll probably ask everybody that. But Chupto, Chupto, Chupto. What are you up to today?
Or my favorite, retch around and wrench it off.
Retch it, baby.
Would you retch around and wrench it off?
Retch around, and wrench it off.
Bring me that apple.
Bring it to me. I drunk all the water. Or I drink all the water. Okay. Those things, street, scrimps, misused words that we know and we love still.
Now, I don't know if some of the things that are incorrectly used by common definition bothered me more when I first transitioned from the north to the south, because I really believe that from the northern accent or intellect, and I think I conflate intellect with the way that words sound, because I was a snob.
Me too. Well, all New Yorkers are when it comes to any accent that's not New York.
Y'all are so ignorant in my mind.
Who says y'all?
Who says y'all? In New York, it's you guys.
Yeah, something like that. I remember even in high school, I can't remember what class it was. They put this word on the board, AWL. Okay. All? Yeah, that's all, right? Yes, but it's also the way Southern people pronounce OIL. Oil. Well, we pronounce it oil when I lived in New York.
We pronounce it oil.
It's oil. Mm-hmm. Okay, but they pronounce it all. So the way the teacher conflated it, we're smarter than Southerners.
That's the way that it seemed. When my son came home from kindergarten and he was telling me his colors and got up to the one that the color is the same name as the actual fruit, I did not know what the heck he was talking about. Orange.
Orange.
What is an orange?
You mean an orange? No. Okay. Well, again, I want to keep highlighting this. I am over grammar. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think it matters as much. Okay. Sister Carolyn Jones says,
I love it. She said, business. I hate when our supposed educated people say this in college and have the audacity to say, my major is business.
Actually, I like business. I even like BIDNASS. Business. Okay.
What about your bit nasty?
Water. Yeah. Water. You know, I'm a businessman. I'm a business, even BIDNISS, business. I'm business. I like business. I like all of that.
But
mind your business. Mind your business.
We have kind of changed a little bit now to articulation versus the different words. But water is a big one. Coffee is one that I got.
New Yorkers will call it coffee.
We call it coffee.
But down here it's coffee. Okay.
Coffee.
And I live down here now. Sister
I
Carolyn
don't know
Jones.
How to say coffee. I don't think I would say coffee.
But I want to ask Carolyn Jones a question. Why do you still hate it when they say business? Okay.
Why? I think a lot of the reason was because there are certain things, and correct me if I'm wrong, that one person represents all of us. Mm-hmm. And when we are in particular scenarios, we want all of us to be perceived a certain way.
As intelligent and good. Yes.
That's why Grandma taught you your telephone voice and your regular people voice. And until you learn how to answer the phone, which kids don't even know now because there's no house phone, until you understood how to use your hello. Yes, may I help you? Such and such residence. Until you knew how to use that voice, you bet not touch that phone.
Back on Dr. Deborah Dunson's water, Richard Pryor tells a story about his grandmother used to have in the bathroom hanging on a shower rod a hot water bottle. Hot water bottle. That's the hot water bottle. That's what he thought it was. That's what she said. Smelled like vinegar. The hot water bottle.
The hot water bottle. Oh my goodness. And I think I've heard that before.
Yes.
I have heard the hot water bottle.
Okay.
But we just understood what it meant, and we just thought either they were the older people, we allowed them to get away with whatever they had to say, and that was that.
Shoot, my grandma had a bunch of them. Look, you know, she if I wore a suit, she would say, Brant, she called me Brant. Okay, Brant with a T. You look like the Shonts man.
Shonts.
SHONCE. Shonts man. Not insurance. It's Shonts. Shh. Chance.
Yes, the junk man.
Chance man. Okay.
Oh my goodness, there are so many.
My grandparents would say, if my sister Tracy or I contradicted anything they said, even a little bit, even a hiccup or a look at them, don't be sputing me. They thought we were sputing them. Okay.
As opposed to disputing.
Yes. Don't be sputing me. And then Tracy would laugh at that. She says, because
when you are in college and have all these letters behind your name, that should be an indication that you are somewhat intelligent. Therefore, you should speak intelligently.
Well, allow me to retort. Because the word intelligence simply means the ability to learn. So if you go to college and you learned anything, you're demonstrating intelligence. When you take any class, any instruction, and you pick up anything from it, you're demonstrating intelligence because you have still the ability to learn. Okay, so that's my retort to that. Just because you don't speak that certain way, that doesn't mean you don't have an ability to learn. How many of us can tell a story about an elder in their family or someone you've heard of who had a third grade or sixth grade education and became a millionaire?
Well, I don't know about that. Well, but the thing is,
or have more sense than anybody you ever met.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of that was learned behavior. We did come from an upbringing where you needed to assimilate certain behaviors in order to be accepted, in order to work first, get a good job, and all of those things.
Good jobs. Good benefits.
A good job with the good benefits. You had to speak a certain way. As a matter of fact, speaking and articulation and debating were actually a really, really important part of leadership.
I got my mind blown by this woman who was a manager in this company that I work for. Business. Okay. Then learn that business is spelled Business. I'm with that. I like it.
So we're going to say it busyness?
Yeah. You can say it if you want to. But I got my mind blown. I was at this company. It was a large company, very, very prominent company. I was there. And I gave me a little office to do the sales training, to do set up for my classes. And I was there after the classes. And this lady was so prim and proper the whole time I met her. And she was prim and proper and spoke intelligently around everybody else in the company. And I just thought she was like the most proper person. And she was in her office late one night on the phone. And she was talking to a girlfriend because she was casual like that.
Yes.
And she was talking to her girlfriend casual, and I'm walking down the hall and I overhear this. I was like, wow, who the hell is that ratchet? And it was her. And she said this one thing that still blows my mind to this day. She goes, girl, you know who I am. I got to smoke me a blunt before I even go home. What? You do? Of all people. Because we have different voices and different vernaculars for different scenes.
Yes. I want, what are they calling it now? Code changing?
You can go with that. Yeah.
And it was actually something that I don't think that we did we did it naturally. Many of us did it naturally.
You do. I mean, who had to teach you? Look, when you're in this setting, you talk this way. When you're on a job interview, you talk this way because you want the job. Jeff Foxworthy made himself millions of dollars with words that Southerners make up. Okay. You know, how does a Southerner demonstrate that they like your vehicle? They say NASCAR, okay? And that's the game that they play, NASCAR. Or appreciate it, you know? Or chup to, you know, things like that. You know, Southerners say, what was another one that he used to throw up? But he made $1 million with that same joke. You might be a redneck.
I was about to say, it's more than Southerner. It was more than Southerner. It was redneck. Hey, Bill.
Good morning to our friend Bill. Bill, we're talking about words that are commonly misused and abused, but we still love them.
Oh, we know what they mean at the very least.
Like, Bill, have you ever ridden in an ambulance? Have you been in an ambulance?
They won't get old.
They're not going to get old to me.
They won't get old.
Jeff Foxworthy had this word called "would you, did you?" Would you, did you? You know what it means. You didn't bring your truck, would you, did you?
Oh, Jacqueline says, funny story. On a game show years ago.
I remember Password. Yes.
the word was deer. So the person said doe. And the other person said,
Nah,
no.
that's hilarious.
They had to go to commercial because the host was laughing so much. The contestant sued the show because she was deeply offended.
Why would you sue the show?
Where she was from, the South, where she pronounced the word door, dough, as in shut the door. How we talk all over this country and this world can be crazy and exhausting again.
Yes.
I love that. It was a Family Feud. And the question was, what's the word that comes after, name a word that comes after the word pork. And they had pork chops, and they had pork chops and pork rinds. And then the person said pork cupine.
Cupine, yeah. Cupine.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah. That's a bad joke. This is a very bad joke I'm about to say. Woo, woo, woo. Bad joke warning.
I'm afraid.
Racist joke warning.
Oh my goodness.
What has 4 legs?
Oh no, don't do it.
And goes ho-de-do, ho-de-do. 4 legs and goes ho-de-do, ho-de-do.
I don't know if I'm gonna have to fade to black because I'm afraid of this joke.
2 black guys trying to catch an elevator. Hody-do, hody-do. Hody-do, get it?
I won't. I will not. Today is the result of a fun time that we had last night at the Comedy Zone. Shout out to our friend
Christian
and show
Johnson.
favorite Christian Johnson. He has made it to the finals, I think it is, at Kenan Thompson's comedy show in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And last night he was the closeout comedian. We got a little taste of some of his material, and we're looking forward to seeing him in August. Matter of fact, we might find out the links and all of that so that we could possibly
book it early.
See who might want to go and book it early.
Carolyn liked my joke.
Don't humor him. Don't humor him.
Doe. No. I like it. I like all of that. I like all of that. Again, I'm quoting Mark Twain here. Good morning, Mr. George Allen, aka Chef Rev. Chef Rev, have you ever ridden in an ambulance? Come on, man. You ever been in an ambulance? Okay. Grand rising to you as well.
Grand rising to
We're talking about words that we know are misused and abused, but we still like it anyway.
Now, there was a word that actually used to work my nerves.
Okay.
And it probably upset me even more when someone that I really, really loved and respected was consistently, and loved and respected for their intellect, was consistently and vehemently using this word incorrectly. And the word was irregardless.
Regardless. I love the irregardless. You should have done that regardless. And there was a Mexican comedian used to do that joke. He said his dad's favorite word was regardless. You come home with a bad score on a test, you should have studied regardless. See, Mr. George Allen says he's never ridden in an ambulance before.
That's another one.
And conversate. We
talked
about conversate.
We talked about conversate because everybody thinks it's not a word.
But it really is.
It really is.
We conversate a bit.
Absolutely. Not only is it a word, it's not one of these new words, which we have lots of new words like text it.
Yep.
And they didn't know how to use text it or put texted, it looks improper, it looks inappropriate, but it's actually accurate.
When the general society accepts a word, it becomes a part of the vernacular,
right,
and it needs to go into a dictionary.
Absolutely. But conversate was always, or at least for the past 200 years, it has been a word.
That was controversial.
Because we thought it was going to be converse.
That's not a real word.
And that's not a real word. And that's not, you trying to sound smart. Well, it's been a word. Mm-hmm. And you knew what I was talking about even before and after I was trying to sound smart.
It's the poor, unimaginative mind that can only come up with one way to spell a word, and grammar don't matter. Okay. You can come up with more than one way to spell it. You can come up more than one way to say it. Grammar does not. I'm almost over it completely. Lisa can't be over it completely because she's a publisher. Part of her world is publishing. So she got to help to make it sound right, And
but I have several.
I even didn't like saying the word sound right.
Right. I have several different editors because each type of work requires a different skill set. There is some that, when I'm publishing, for example, some of these technical papers that are going into the publishing of some of the thesis and so on and so forth. Good morning, Katura. Then I have to use a more technical editor.
Good morning, Katura Green. Miss Katura Green, have you ever ridden in an ambulance? Or did you ever have to call an ambulance for anybody?
But when I am having things like poetry edited, there's really, 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 to be quite honest, the author themselves is supposed to, is really the last word. Is the last word when it's poetry. Because if you think about it, the thing that sealed it for me actually was Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige has 2 words in her song that you never heard before, but the first time you heard them, you knew what they meant and you adopted them.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep. You want to go?
Yes.
Go ahead. Dancery. Ain't no hateration or holleration.
Hateration was another one. 3 words, actually.
Or holleration.
Holleration.
In this dancery.
There ain't no hateration, holleration in this dancery.
What's the dancery?
We already know.
Yes, right.
So at the disco, you can't hate and you can't holler. So you know already what they mean, right?
This dancery.
And then
I was your lover
and your secretary.
Not secretary. It's secretary.
That's right. She was secretary.
Yeah.
You know what she meant.
Secretary. That's it.
You know what she meant. And you know what she was doing. You know exactly what that means.
She was not the secretary. Okay.
She was the secretary.
Secretary. I was your lover and your secretary. That doesn't flow as well. Okay.
The King's English has way expanded for plenty of time, but the
and
word
you can look it up.
say absolutely has been a yes. I know the English teachers and my upbringing made me pity the thought of using words that were not widely accepted.
So, since your mother was an English teacher, she probably sometimes sent you to the library.
That was another one. I forgot about that one. The library.
It's not a library. It's a library. You know what I mean? I'm going to the library.
Well, I think it was the 90s that they actually introduced into the dictionary the word wildin. Wildin.
Yes. The Wildin Institute. Not institute. The Wilding Incident in New York. And these were 14, 15-year-old kids trying to explain them, having fun in the park. We was just wilding.
We were just wilding out.
And the news reporters, what were wilding?
You were doing what?
Wilding? No, wilding out. We're just
wilding
chilling. Wilding out. Okay. 14-year-olds say that to you and you don't know what it means. Now we got to put it in the dictionary.
In the dictionary. What? No, we don't. No, we don't.
South Park had a hilarious episode over the word faggot. Okay.
You can't say that.
I can't say the word?
No. It's not an acceptable word anymore.
You know what the word means?
No. I know what it reflects.
Okay. Well, the original definition of the word faggot was bundle of sticks. Okay. And then it went from a bundle of sticks was a faggot to a cigarette. They call the cigarette a faggot. Okay. You're smoking a fag or smoking a fag. Okay. Yes, it is.
I know. And I know the British people say, can I bum a fag?
Yes,
so I get that. I know that. I understand.
Well, the South Park, they had this whole thing about, they changed the definition of the word faggot from a derogatory term for gay people, They even had the Webster's people, the dictionary people come and do a panel discussion to change the definition from a derogatory word for gay people to a word to describe obnoxious white people on Harley Davidsons going through neighborhoods. I mean, going through small towns. Those are now officially faggots.
Absolutely. That's right, Couture. We're gonna continue giving Michelle happy birthday wishes all day. We're gonna sing a song during the songs. Jacqueline says, question: I have often thought about who decides when a word is a word, since they are all made up. We know they add words to the dictionary all the time.
It was George Washington who said a curse word is only a curse word because the person that heard the curse words interpreted it as a curse word.
Interpreted that way.
The word shit doesn't have to be a curse word, but if you see it as a curse word, then it is. Okay?
Yeah. Madam CJ says, I love it. All those MJB words actually have a meaning definition when you Google it. That's right.
Did you ever try to Google hateration? Do you ever try to Google holleration or dancery?
But we also got Shamon.
Shamon. Michael Jackson Shamon. Okay, no one ever said Shamon.
But you know what it meant?
Shamon.
That means you better get where I'm at. Shamon. Get where I'm at and get there quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's swiftly.
Actually, I was telling Lisa before the broadcast this morning that I did a Ancestry.com search of where I came from. And we come from an African tribe called the Mobacas. The Mobacas. We're Mobacas. And you can recognize people that from the Mobaca tribe today because they'll say things like, moan back. Or when you're trying to help you park your car, moan back. We're Mombacas. They are all there, Carolyn, talking about hateration, holleration, and dancery.
Yes.
How about Mombacas?
And everybody knows, if you haven't heard it, just reach back into your memory banks. Like I said, I think I said it earlier. Retch around, wrench it off, or hitch up the window. Hitch up the window. Up the window. Hitch is in the dictionary.
Wrench it off. Wrench it off. Good morning, Sister Crystal Blake.
You're going to have to be the grown-up in the room.
Crystal Blake, have you ever ridden in an ambulance? You ever called an ambulance for anybody?
Did you know, this is from Madam CJ, did you know that the word shamon was something soul singer Mavis Staples used to sing?
I can believe it.
Some people think it was Michael was paying tribute to her with his use of that word in his performance. Interesting. I don't think
Michael was paying tribute. I think Michael was in his vibe and his mode. Y'all seen that video clip of Michael on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And Oprah is attempting to conduct a grown person interview with Michael. And Michael was not having it. So she's asking him questions. He don't give a daggone about her questions. He's sitting in his chair. He started doing all this moving. And she's like, well, Michael, what about this? And he didn't pay attention. He's just... He's doing his whole dance, ignoring her in his chair, slapping his thighs, making his noises. Okay, that's what he did to get over. He didn't want to answer her questions. He wanted to get in his entertainment bag.
Or maybe that was just when the muse struck him.
Could be.
Good morning, Renee.
Good morning, Miss Renee Peterson. Miss Renee Peterson, have you ever ridden in an ambulance before? Okay.
And when did what change, Chef Rev? I don't know which word you're referring to.
It's going on now, but we don't know when it started. But it's going on now. Words, meanings change. I am over it. Okay, about spelling. I don't think spelling matters. If you can spell it in such a way that we know what it means, that's good enough for me. And I am over grammar. Okay, blankety blank that. Sister Crystal Blake says, yes, I have. Until I grew up and paid attention to the word. See, but you knew what I meant. Ambulance. It's not an ambulance. It's an ambulance.
Well, Chef Rev, we thank you for joining us even for abbreviated time. And peace and love.
We're still going to do your song even though you're not here.
So you can catch it on the replay if you want.
We're still going to do your song because anybody who shows up, we do their jam. Sister Renee says, no, she never rode an ambulance before. Okay, I got it. Okay.
never rode in an ambulance. Ambulance, I'm telling you. I really enjoy words anyway. I just enjoy playing with words. I
Appreciate
do realize that I had a few biases that I had to overcome, and some of them came to me because I had to decide not to take things as seriously. Quite honestly, some things have been ingrained. The seriousness of them have been ingrained, and I realized that it was for my own good. Some of the things that we learn from our elders, particularly from those that want to see you do better, they can only see that from the lessons that they've learned in life.
Okay.
And if those lessons that they've learned say that articulation is more acceptable, manners will get you further, you may find them having a bias towards those things.
Yeah, I guess.
Using manners is grace and good grace and, nightly prayers, all of those things. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. Nothing wrong. Just understand that you get to a certain place where you can choose what you accept or fixate on.
Crystal Blake says, them downright deep country folks will have you set up in this big world. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. But I had to actually let go of that as well because, like I said, I had a bias against the Southern accent. To me, I conflated the Southern accent with ignorance. Like there was no way that a person with that accent would I perceive
now, let me tell you
as having any intelligence.
I was in the Army, and there was a lot of people from the South and Mississippi and all that stuff, and they know the rest of the country sees their accent as dumb, and they play into it. Because they're smart as you are, and they country fox. Okay, slides like a country fox.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't know, y'all seem good, and they play that game with you and get over on you. They know that you think they dumb.
I've learned otherwise. I've learned that people have the right to their own articulation, and that does not define whether or not they're intelligent or smarter. Jacqueline says, Lisa, I think I may be a word snob, or maybe I should call it a grammar snob.
Probably.
My ears cannot understand most rap songs. My children laugh at me all the time because I'm constantly asking them, what the H are they saying, or what are they talking about? Honey, you're not by yourself.
The H are they saying? I am appalled.
But now, and that could just be by design. There were probably some of our music that our parents and grandparents didn't understand either. And I think that that's part of the expression. I think that's a part of the expression that becomes your own language, because I'm going to tell you, I do not have a clue about some of this country grammar.
That's right. Michelle DeWitt says, the church that I work at, I do the pastor's pen, and we go back and forth on some of his wording. He's 85, and she says corn tea. I'm not sure she meant corny, or she meant to say corn tea.
Corn tea means you are more than corny.
Just like people say who morning, good morning, and all that stuff. And where the word corny is another one. Corny, okay, that word, where's the origination of that word? Corny. And even horny, okay. Horny was not an original word. Horny is a made-up word that came about in the 70s, okay. We're so horny. I remember on the TV show Soap, the word horny came up, and the one with the red hair, said, horny? I've never heard that word before. He goes, yeah, that's the feeling that you have when you really, really want some sex. You're horny.
Or you have a horn.
She says, well, horny is such a funny word to her. Horny.
Horny. You have a horn now on the front of your body.
2 Live Crew said, me so horny. And they got it from that movie Full Metal Jacket. What do I get for $5? Anything you want. Anything? Yes. Me so horny. G.I. me so horny. That's where that came from. But Lisa's holding a card in her hand.
She says country, and it's spelled, I don't know if it's spelled country, if that's intentional, or if it was corn tea as in corny, and I don't know.
Country. C-U-N-T-R-E-E.
I don't know.
Tree.
So I am holding a card, and we're running out of time. It's 9:38.
Yes,
we
we
need to
do.
move into the songs actually in about 2 minutes. But the card is soul. And I think sometimes the words that we get to use and get to make up put soul into our conversations.
Definitely.
They put depth into it. But the soul on this card represents you are a divine spark of light, unique to the world. Your soul is the greater part of who you truly are, and it resides in timelessness. Your soul is forever and always broadcasting the best of who you are and who you can become. Let this radiance shine from you and through you. I like that definition of soul.
Your soul is such a, but we could do a whole show on the soul. Okay. What is your soul? I have thoughts on that. We could do a whole show on that, but we do have to move on. Like Lisa says, Sister Jacqueline says.
Another funny story. My daughter called someone corny, and the person said, I like peas too.
I don't like just corn. I like peas too. Dr. Deborah says that is so beautiful.
It is. It really is. I really like that. I don't think I've read that one before, as a matter of fact. And I thought I had been through all of
your
them.
soul is an essential part of your being.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was an episode of The Simpsons where Bart Simpson needed some money to buy a comic book. So he wrote Bart's soul on a piece of paper. And he sold Bart's soul to his friend Milhouse for $5 so he could buy the comic book. So Milhouse bought Bart's soul. And Bart realized after he sold his soul to Milhouse, he was cold, he was lonely, he was afraid all the time. And he saw Milhouse playing with his soul, like running his truck over Bart's soul on a piece of paper and all that kind of stuff. He's like, Milhouse, can I buy it back from you, please? I need my soul. Because he had dreams about what his life was like without having a soul. Everybody that has a soul kind of like has a person with them all the time. It's how he equated it in the show. Mm-hmm. And so he had to figure out a way to get his soul back. So in the end, his sister bought his soul from Milhouse and gave it to her brother.
That's so sweet.
Yes. They were going for funny, but I just found it profound.
Sometimes I wish that I could watch certain things with your brain.
With my brain?
Yeah, with your brain. Because I think you make it so much better than it looks. Because when I look at it, I just want to punch my eyes out or whatever. But even like when you watch Boondocks, you come away with something so different than what I had to suffer through.
Ooh.
So if I get
when you watch an episode of Boondocks,
I have to suffer. I suffer.
I think it's what your initial thought was before you started watching.
I don't think so.
Your attitude before you started watching. I go there. See, Lisa and I love Boondocks. I think it's brilliant.
Boondocks, okay. South Park, Family Guy,
yes,
and The Simpsons. I don't want any part of them.
Yeah, but I can find funny in them and also find joy in them. Dr. Deborah says that was a well-written episode. There's a lot of well-written episodes in those adult type of cartoons. But yeah, selling your soul and watching someone else crinkle your soul up, ball it up, and then play with your soul. He felt great loss. Great loss.
What's that other one with the girl with the one eye? And the robot bender.
Futurama.
Yeah, you watch that one too.
I do watch Futurama. I can watch episodes. I know I have some favorite episodes in Futurama as well. Death by Snoo Snoo was one of my favorite episodes. You don't want me to tell what that means.
You don't have to.
You don't want me to tell it on this show either. But it's 9:42, and those of you, every single one of you chose to contribute to the show in any kind of way. We thank you. We thank you for coming here, and the way we like to thank them. You go ahead.
Yes, I just thought about this. We had a funny moment yesterday at the show, and yes, punch my eyes out. That's what I said. Jacqueline says we must be sisters from another mister because punch your eyes out. Some shows I am not watching. Exactly, they make me.
I gotta tell you what got me into like Family Guy. Family Guy was on for many years, and I refused to watch it until my oldest son, because he knows his dad jokes around a lot, and he kind of has an idea about my humor. He goes, Dad, why aren't you watching Family Guy? So what do you mean? He says, Dad, there's funny on Family Guy, kind of like you. Why aren't you watching it? And I didn't have a good defense for it. So I started watching it. And now I probably have seen every episode more than one time.
But last night at the show, we sat front row in the front and center.
Yeah,
so
we were the closest to the stage you could possibly be.
That's right. So that means that you know that you're going to be a part of the show.
Right.
At some point.
Okay, we know that before we get in there.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You know that you're going to be part of the show. They would be hard pressed not to use you for some comic relief.
Yeah, you right in their face.
Now, a lot of times people assume that we've been married a whole lot longer than we have. We've only been married for 6 years. So when people ask us, so how long have you been married? They expect us to say 10 at the minimum, 20 years.
That's the
25 years. They expect it. But we say 6, now that I know how long I've been married, because I never get that right. But now I have it. Hopefully I'll still have it next year. But anyway, we will also ask, because this setup in this particular joke required spousal arguments in order to set that up. And we didn't know. Of course, we didn't know.
He goes, I know you guys argue, right? Y'all argue?
And both of us said, no,
we don't argue. But he needed us to argue to make his joke.
And we were like, we can't even pretend. We have disagreed. Like, we've had differences of opinion, but we've never had an argument. You guys have probably seen our arguments.
The worst ones we've ever had on the show.
On the show. And that seems odd, but I was going to say it's by design, but it's not our design. It's God's design.
Oh, Dr. Deborah, you'd have fallen out.
Absolutely.
You'd have fell out because they was trying.
They had to go find another couple. Back there in the way back. How long y'all been married? Okay.
Do y'all argue?
Yes.
No,
good.
No, he needed them to be arguing, like having arguments. Do y'all argue? Of course you argue. If you're married, you have to have arguments. That was the premise and setup of his joke. And he needed a couple to co-sign for him.
And we couldn't. We didn't even realize that we needed to until the end of the joke. But that's such a blessing.
Yes.
I think that it wasn't even one of those things where he could have seen one person is agreeing with him and the other one isn't. And yet he could be like, there's an argument that's getting ready to be in the car when y'all get out of here. But we both agreed.
Because I couldn't think of an argument. So I was like, no, we don't argue like that.
We don't argue.
Sister Jacqueline says, I was the subject of comedy show OMG. It was shocking. I love hats and I was wearing one and I became the church lady. Of course you did. Okay, I'm okay with. They can make any joke they want about me.
Now, the other thing that, and I'm glad they didn't take it much further, but the other couple that we were with, the wife is a bit older than us.
Okay.
Or both of them probably are a bit older than us. And at the table, a couple of the comedians were like trying to be deferent to her. Like, let's show her some deference, some respect, but it's a comedy club. So there's certain things that we're going to talk about. And so they would apologize. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah. She apologized. One lady apologized to Lisa because she's right up front. Because the lady had her head down at first. She came out. She goes, "What's up, fuckers?" Like that. And then she looked up and saw Lisa's face. "Ma'am, I'm not talking about you. I'm sorry." "Ma'am, I'm not talking about you."
It's okay.
But anyway, we got to do our greeting songs and green logos. Okay.
And we got to do them pretty fast.
Oh, man. They was talking about me. Man, it was like, bald head fat guy, They said I'm wearing swim shoes. They made jokes about my shoes. I said, don't worry, I'm not going to rush the stage. I don't care what you say. Michelle DeWitt has a greeting jam. It goes, DeWitt, Michelle DeWitt.
And happy birthday
to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
Happy birthday to ya.
Happy birthday. Today's Michelle DeWitt's birthday.
Yes.
And I promise you, as we were singing that song, she was dancing in her chair.
I'm sure
she was, because that's what she do. Dr. Deborah Dunstan has a song.
Dr. Deborah, nonprofit strategist and funding coach.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Dr. Deborah. Sister Jacqueline has a logo according to Jacqueline, and she also has a song.
Jacqueline Rosie, pretty little one that I adore. You're the only one my heart beats for. I'm so glad that you are mine.
Good morning again, Sister Jacqueline. You did that really good, baby. Sister Carolyn Jones has a jam as well.
It's Madam
CJ.
She's walking in her destiny. The only one for me
is Madam CJ. Dr. Deborah Dunstan. Do you ever use a hot water bottle?
A hot water bottle. A hot water bottle.
Scroll.
I love it.
Mr. William Brown has a jam as well. Bill. Good morning to our friend Bill. Nobody thinks like him still. We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill. Good morning to our friend Bill. I don't think Bill ever answered the question of whether he rode an ambulance or not.
I know, right?
Mr. George Allen, a.k.a. Chef Rev, has a jam as well. He had to leave, but we still going to honor him. You know, and his business as a caterer. Why must I eat like that? Why not hire Chef Rev?
He puts the good food in me.
Nah. Good morning, again, Chef Rev. Miss Couture Green has a song too. Back to life, back to reality.
However do you want it?
However do you need it?
Do you need
We didn't do that right.
Couture, yes we did. Couture, I ran into your sister yesterday and I got me a hug from Nicole. Hey, Nicole.
I should have said back to Couture Green, not back to reality.
Well, we got you.
Okay.
And Bill says he has ridden in the ambulance.
All right. Mr. Crystal Blake has a jam. Crystal Blake is in the air. Crystal Blake is everywhere. Helping families ensure their needs. Crystal Blake will do it with ease. Crystal Blake, I hope you still love your jam. Miss Renee Peterson has a jam too.
Renee Peterson's fire. Renee Peterson's fire. She's walking on fire. Renee Peterson's fire.
Brenda Booker Bull came in here in time for us to do her jam.
Yes, Brenda. We didn't even ask you if you ever rode an ambulance.
Miss Brenda Booker Bull, have you ever ridden in an ambulance?
I don't think Brenda ever rode an ambulance. She probably rode in an ambulance.
Nah, well, maybe she did ride an ambulance. But Brenda, have you ever been to the library? Have any of you guys ever been to the library?
Where they have books at?
Yeah, the library. Okay.
Or I was gonna say, is you feeling cold? Is you feeling hot? You might have to hitch up the window.
Yes.
But my goodness, that was a whole lot of.
But she's a champion real estate agent, and it's tricky to buy a home or sell a home. Don't do it alone. Choose Brenda.
Hey, choose Brenda. It's tricky to buy a home, to sell a home. Don't do it alone. Choose Brenda. Hey,
choose Brenda. That's our girl there.
Yes. Craig Saab.
They're wishing happy birthdays to our girl,
I'm
Jacqueline.
Glad. To Michelle DeWitt.
It's time to go. We got to go. Okay.
I got an appointment. You got to do
Craig Saab. 1,000 degrees. You'll be on your knees and you'll be burning, begging, please. Brother Freeze. Craig Saab. Craig, let me borrow your VCR so I can double tape.
Brenda says, yes, I have been in an ambulance and a library.
Okay.
An ambulance and a library versus an ambulance
and a library.
We hope that you start your day with a laugh today, and then we hope that you had the rest of an amazing day. Remember, tomorrow is Friday.
But today is still Thursday.
And today is still Thursday. You got time to work, get it in, but let's get ready for Friday. We'll see you, and make sure that you don't forget